Apyayantu mamangani Vak pranaschakshu shrotramatho balamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam brahmopanishadam Mahang brahma nirakuryo Mama brahma nirakarot Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranang meastu Tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu Dharmaste mai santu te mai santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May my limbs, speech, breath, eye, ear, strength, and all senses become perfected. Everything is the Brahman proclaimed in the Upanishads. May I never deny Brahman. May Brahman never reject me. May there be no denial at all. May there be no denial at least from me. May I, who am devoted to the Atman, be endowed with all the virtues taught in the Upanishads. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome. Today we are going to discuss part 6 of the lecture series called Inspiring Relationship Between Swami Vivekananda and His Brother Disciples. Swami Brahmananda, and we are discussing at the present moment mainly about the relationship between Swami Brahmananda and Swami Vivekananda. And probably you have noticed in general in Ramakrishna tradition, Ramakrishna Vivekananda tradition, we generally, when we, in our literature, when we say Swamiji, it means Swami Vivekananda, and when we say only Maharaj or Sri Maharaj, so it means Swami Brahmananda. So why I am saying, maybe out of my old habit, I may forget to mention that all the time Swami Vivekananda, Swami Brahmananda. So when I say only Swamiji, it means Swami Vivekananda, and when only Maharaj, maybe in general, it's Swami Brahmananda. And Swami Brahmananda also sometimes in letters, when we will read from letters, their nicknames may come now and then. So Maharaj, that is Swami Brahmananda, his pre-monastic name was Rakhal Chandra Ghosh. So many times we will see Rakhal or Rakhal Maharaj. It means Swami Brahmananda. Or sometimes out of affection, Swamiji, he used to call Raja, the king, Swami Brahmananda. So when will come the Raja or Rakhal, it means Swami Brahmananda. Swami Brahmananda once, he told, probably you may get that advice, that instruction in Dharma Prasange Swami Brahmananda in Bengali, or A Guide to Spiritual Life or Eternal Companion in English translation. So a beautiful book, mainly meant for sincere seeker of truth, who are for them, mainly for his disciples. He pointed all those things. We found among his advice that he is saying there are two ways to calm or purify your mind. In general, there are many ways maybe, but according to him presently he is saying two ways. One, go to a solitary place. Observe your mind make your mind desireless. That is the one way to calm down your mind. There is also another way, that is, feed your mind with good thoughts. You need mental food, so give food, spiritual food, noble food, lofty ideals to your mind. So that's, you can develop your mind, strengthen your mind, and at the same time purify your mind. So according our situation in our life, we can use both of them or one of them, whatever we like. When you are in a solitary, living alone, you can think about, try as if you are sitting in Uttarkashi, some places, a solitary place, Uttarkashi, in one place in Himalaya, somewhere you are doing, or maybe you are staying in a monastery, you are visiting a monastery, or maybe you are sitting in a temple. You can think like that. But when you are engaged in regular life, you can make a routine where you can listen to the lecture. When you read from the book, it is feeding your mind with noble ideas. So as we are talking now, mainly now we'll focusing on the second part. Actually, all the stories why we are sharing, it is unknowingly will feed our mind with these noble characters. They are great souls. They are not ordinary. That's why when we started, we took 3 or 4 days, Sundays, only to who were they. So let us start. So probably you may remember we were discussing from the year, and we are trying to make it some interesting way to put the data and the stories combining all together. So we were talking about mostly 1890, that part. Sri Ramakrishna left his mortal coil in 1886. Then our Varanagar monastery was established, and some of the, as following the traditional way of a monastic life, some of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, they were visiting holy places, mainly as a wandering monk. That was the old traditional way. Now, where we read. Okay, so mainly we are talking about not only 1890, it's around September, October, November, around that time. We got, I want to remind you a little bit of that. So, Trigunatit Maharaj, from a letter, we can trace Swami Brahmananda. In a letter written in around that time, he wrote, Rakhal is now in Konkhal. From there, he will proceed to Rishikesh. I hear he has developed great renunciation. So, Konkhal, Hardwar, Uttarakhand, that state. If you check see the map of India, that north side. So you will find a state called present. It is called Uttarakhand. In those days, it has different name. It had different name. So he was visiting there. At Konkhal, Haridwar, this is a very holy places. Nowadays, if you go, it looks like a modern city. In those days, it was totally different. Here and there, dense forest, and occasionally you can meet that tigers and all those things. But still, the monks, they usually visit those places, and some villages were there here and there. So Rakhal was in Konkhal, Raja Maharaj. And where was Swamiji? Swamiji with Turiyanandaji, Saradanandaji, and some other monks, they were there also staying at Konkhal. But he was in Rishikesh. He was in a Konkhal, Rakhal Maharaj, and they were in Rishikesh. From Rishikesh, and you may remember, it's if you go by a car, I forgot. It probably takes around 2 hours. For that part. So, Swamiji was seriously ill, high fever. Somehow it was a life risk, but somehow he recovered. When he gained some strength to travel others disciples, they thought they can take him to the city to see a good doctor. So in Hardwar, Diwan of Tihri, the place, Raghunath Bhattacharya, he saw these monks, and he was, seeing Swamiji was an experience. No? So he himself gave a letter of introduction to a renowned physician in Delhi for further treatment. So, in the midst of all, Swamiji came to know that his brother disciple, Swami Brahmananda, was engaged in tapasya, that is austerities in Konkhal. So, for many days, and you will see they have they are so much indrawn to each other. So, it has been many days, many months. I didn't, and we didn't see each other. So, take this opportunity. So, he went there. So, filled with love and longing, they all set out to meet him, to Rakhal. When they finally reunited, the scene was like a joyful spiritual fair, a gathering overflowing with affection and delight. And before that, you just try to remember with Subodhanandaji. Swami Brahmananda was engaged in, again, in tapasya in Vrindavan. Just I am to remind you, so you can check the previous the talk also. So here that incident happened about the khichuri. Remember that in last class we were talking about. So when everyone begged for something, some brought lentil, some brought rice, and they cooked a khichdi. And Swamiji, he was suffering from that fever and have experienced some kind of distaste in tongue. So you like change of food, not little. And Swamiji was fond of spicy food, So he told that let us prepare a spicy khichdi. So in meantime, what happened? Rakhal, Raja, he got some little sugar candy. That story? Sugar candy. So how to use that? Let us put that sugar candy in the khichdi. And Swamiji was, utterly disappointed. So I want a spicy khichdi, and you have a brain. So he put there and make it sweet khichdi. So that story happened. Anyhow, so noticing Swami Brahmananda's weakening health due to his intense solitary practices, Swamiji lovingly said, "Come now, no more of this. You must come with us." They have affectionate bonding. Huh? They saw just like a mother. Oh, you have done a lot of austerities, so come with me. You need not to do more. So then, Swami Brahmananda could not refuse the loving call of his beloved Naren. Naren was the nickname for Swami Vivekananda. Moreover, seeing Swamiji's emaciated form filled him with deep concern. He was eager to accompany him to the city so that proper treatment could be arranged for him. So he was thinking about, Swamiji was thinking about Swami Brahmananda and his health, and Swami Brahmananda was thinking about Swamiji's health. So let us go to Delhi. The group of wandering monks next arrived at Saharanpur. There they heard from the kind lawyer Bonku Bihari Chattopadhyay that their ailing brother disciple Swami Akhandananda was staying in Meerut. Swami Brahmananda showed great eagerness to visit him, and so all of them journeyed onward to Meerut. That was the background story. So when they visited Saharanpur, on the way to Delhi, they came Saharanpur. They heard from a local lawyer that one of their brother disciple, that is Swami Akhandananda, another disciple of Swami of Sri Ramakrishna, was ill and now presently staying at Meerut. So let us they changed their plan, and Meerut is not far away from Delhi, I hope. So all of them came to Meerut. So now little bit of data I got. Swami Prabhananda, he in his book written on Swami Brahmananda, he thought that date must be after 5th December 1890, because a letter written by Swami Akhandananda, there was no mention about the group. So probably it must be around 5th December 1890. The days of, now story, about that their stay at Meerut, um, all those incidents that happened in Meerut, it occupied a special place in the biography of all those disciples. So we'll share all those stories when we'll discuss on Swami Turiyananda. Because all those incidents we came to know mainly from Swami Turiyananda's letter. I have to keep something for Turiyananda's part. Everything, if I say Raja Maharaj part, it will be not fair. Nobody will come when we talk about Turiyanandaji, no? So they went there, and where they stayed most of the time, they called Sheth Ji's Bagan. Bagan means garden house, a orchard kind of thing. Sheth literally means a businessman, a wealthy person. So probably this Sheth had a orchard or some, and he had some respect towards monks also. So he left that garden house. Maybe it was open, and some caretaker would be there. So he opened the gate of his orchard to stay them. And in solitary place they can do their spiritual practice. Weeks passed in an atmosphere rich with joy and spiritual companionship. Then one day, quite unexpectedly, Swami Vivekananda said to his brother disciples, "The purpose of my life is now firmly decided. From now onward, I shall live alone. You must all leave me." Somebody, he had some, because you remember, so we are approaching towards 1893, the Chicago, all those things. Sri Ramakrishna had a different plan with Swami Vivekananda. Probably he felt something inside his heart, some kind of knock, some kind of message from Sri Ramakrishna. You have something you have to do in a different way. So probably Swamiji was very, he hardly spoke about what is there. He felt. Once he told, many stories will go with me when I passed away. So many things he didn't mention. He never explained to others. So, but he told, it was end of the festivity, he told, now the purpose of my life is now firmly decided. From now onward, I shall live alone. You must all leave me, please. Despite their earnest pleas and heartfelt entreaties, he remained resolute. One morning, without saying much more, Swamiji quietly left Meerut. I remember that in our last discussion, I should mention that there are many stories. We cannot share everything. So one day, probably in Baranagar monastery, Trigunatitanandaji he wanted to leave the monastery and go somewhere, maybe his home or somewhere else. So Rakhal, that is Swami Brahmananda, stopped him and told that, "Why are you going?" Swami Trigunatit Maharaj, another disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, he wanted to just go because, again, following traditional wandering monk, that kind of lifestyle, staying inside a wall, it was very new kind of thing. So he wanted to go to his home, probably some reason. So Swami Brahmananda stopped him and said, "Why are you going? Where are you going, leaving Noren?" You see, why are you going, leaving monastery? No. Thing is, why are you going, leaving Noren? Noren is here with us. Have you ever found such love elsewhere? I can also go home and stay there if I wish. Why am I here then? Only because of Noren's love. So all the time you have to remember the background. So they were not ready. They made, "Please don't go, stay with us." So, but he remained resolute. One morning, without saying much more, Swamiji quietly left Meerut. This likely took place in the first week of January 1891. So December, that part, we wanted to locate all those things, and we can want to feel. In those days, Meerut, Delhi was quite cold. It is not modern Delhi, not much pollution. His departure left everyone deeply saddened and silent. But Swami Brahmananda, with his natural energy and uplifting spirit, began to encourage and inspire the brother disciples once again with his cheerful and reassuring words. After discussion, it was decided to search for Swamiji again. We will not leave him alone. Uh, then some incident happened. I want to summarize all those stories. Now we found another monk, Daksha Maharaj, Swami Gyanananda. He came from Kolkata, from the West Bengal, and he found and Advaitanandaji. He took Advaitanandaji to attend Kumbha Mela. In that year, Kumbha Mela was happening somewhere, maybe Allahabad, I do not know. But we can check in the book. But anyhow, they went for a pilgrimage to attend Kumbha Mela. Then who remains? Brahmanandaji, Turiyanandaji, Akhandanandaji, Sardanandaji, and Sanyal. Sanyal means a Vaikuntanath Sanyal. Another that regular or householder disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. So they remained in that team. So they went to Ghaziabad. Sardanandaji was sick, so he went to Etwa, a place somewhere in North India, presently UP maybe, with Sanyal. So now these two people, first Daksha Maharaj and Advaitanandaji, they went away, and this time Sanyal and Sardanandaji, they are very close friends. And sometimes Swamiji scolded. Scolded means it is in a funny way. Why you are mixing so much? You are a monk. So like that. Then they went to Delhi, and when they reached Delhi, at a railway station, they got some clue about Swami Vivekananda, English-speaking monk those days. So he is there in somewhere. So they found him in the house of Seth Shamaldas. Shamaldas and Seth, you remember, a merchant, a businessman. So in his house, they got the clue from railway station. And nowadays it is impossible. It is for population. There's so much increase in population. In those days, they find him out. So they went to Shamaldas, and he found Swamiji. And Swamiji again, you again, you came here searching and following me. So, but he also loved them. So he made all arrangements to take care of the brother disciples. And one day, after a few days, I think maybe it's more than 3 weeks, maybe, not only. Forgot that part. Anyhow, so at last he told, please leave me. From inside, I am getting some instruction. So I have to live alone. So it was a genuine prayer. Then they left him. In the beginning of February, Swamiji, he went to Alwar, near Rajasthan, that part. Rajasthan, Gujarat, that part. Rajputana, to that side. So Swamiji, from Turiyanandaji's letter, we got on information he wrote. After that, we saw Swamiji after 8 years when he returned from the West. 8 years. But only in between, we saw him for a brief period, for a short while, at Bombay and Abu Pahar, Abu Mount Abu. So it was for a short time we just saw him in between. So that is the background. Now we can understand. So what happened to? He went to Alwar, and we'll see after Alwar he is going to Swamiji. If you track Swamiji, he is visiting Jaipur, Khetri, and southern part of India, Chennai, Hyderabad, all those places. And he was getting lot of stories. He studied under a Pandit, a scholar, the grammar of Panini in Rajasthan. Interesting. He was so busy, but Swamiji is that his fondness to study any apart from tapasya, we see again and again. So many. This is all very sweet stories are there, but in different occasion we can share all those things. So Swamiji, uh, then where again? Okay, so up to that much, up to Jaipur, I am saying. Then they will meet in Abu Pahar. So now what happened when Swamiji left them? They went towards Delhi, and so who in the team who were there? Turiyanandaji, Swami Brahmanandaji, Akhandanandaji. Yeah, the three were there because Sharadanandaji Sandal went to Etwa because he was sick. So only three people. So from Akhandanandaji, he from Ghaziabad, he went to Vrindavan. Now in that team, who remains? Two. As I was trying to make it like a mathematics. So now Turiyanandaji and Brahmanandaji. They, Sri Ramakrishna had once instructed Swami Brahmananda to accompany Swami Turiyananda, who was the very embodiment of the renunciation described in the Bhagavad Gita. Sri Ramakrishna mentioned, if you want to understand a yogi that is described in Gita, see Turiyananda, Hari. His nickname was Hari, or Harinath Chattopadhyay, Hari. So now the opportunity had arisen. Over the course of nearly 6 years, Brahmanandaji joyfully journeyed on pilgrimage and engaged in spiritual practices alongside Swami Turiyanandaji, drawing immense inspiration and bliss from their companionship. And Swamiji, Sri Ramakrishna, beautifully he used to tell that, the mother of the family, the head of the family knows that which kind of lid you have to place on the mouth of a pitcher. Every pitcher, that mouth, you have to cover it, some water. So size is different. It depends on. So the expert head of the family, the mother or the whoever else knows what shape must be there to cover the mouth of a pitcher. So he told, accompany Swami Turiyananda. For nearly 2 full years, little is known about the two wandering monks. The primary reason is that these radiant ascetics, they called, how to say, they're radiant by their power of tapas. They are doing austerities. Lived in such utter seclusion that they had little contact with the outside world. It was nearly impossible to learn anything about them from others, and from their own mouths, even less so. They're difficult. But now and then we can track them. Like we saw that they started for Punjab, towards Punjab. They separated from Ghaziabad, last part, the Delhi side, that part. So they went to Ghaziabad, they went to Punjab, and Punjab, some holy places called Jwalamukhi. Then Kangra Valley, Kangra Vajnath, Kangra Valley, some of them you can search all those places. Then Pathankot, Gujranwala, Lahore, present day Pakistan. It was, we are talking about undivided India. They went to that side. So Lahore, Montgomery, then very near, then Multan. Then they went to a place called Sadhu Vela near Sakkar. A place called Sadhu Vela, and in Sadhu Vela, we saw them there doing again austerities, staying in a monastery. A local monastery, the head of the monastery requested them, please stay here, please stay with us. And it is written that monastery was located in an island kind of thing. So it is quite that separated from the crowd. So they stayed there, and for some time they did their tapas, austerity. Then they went to Karachi. Karachi is a port city, Arabian Sea. So Karachi, from Karachi they went to Mumbai, probably by boat or by ship. So they reached Bombay. Now again, Kalipada Ghosh. Now let us think about Bombay. What is happening with Swamiji? Kalipada Ghosh, known as Dana Kali, was working in Bombay as a representative of the John Dickinson Company, a paper firm. By an unexpected stroke of grace, he happened to reunite with Swami Vivekananda at his residence. That is Swami Brahmananda. Because he has been in Bombay, and Kalipada Ghosh, remember, Dana Kali, the, how to say, in spirit, I should say, in spirit, he used to say, I am the younger brother of Girish Ghosh. Now, who know you know about Girish Ghosh, you can understand Dana Kali little bit. At the time, Swamiji was preparing to journey abroad. At the earnest request of his beloved disciple Ajit Singh of Khetri, Swamiji was en route to bless the newly born prince. Accompanied by Munshi Jagmohan Lal, the Rajas, that is the King of Khetri's private secretary, he began his journey. So, he was about to start a journey towards, again, Khetri, towards Rajasthan, that part, because he got that news that it was, he wanted, he wanted a prince to take over his kingdom. So, Swamiji blessed him, and Swamiji was his guru. So, on request of the king of Khetri, so Swamiji, he wanted to, from Mumbai, he wanted to come to the west. But it happened like that. He sent his private secretary, the king had sent his private secretary to send a request to Swamiji so that he can visit and bless the newborn prince. So Swamis Brahmananda and Turiyananda also joined him. On the way, they disembarked at Abu Road station. Swamiji himself arranged for their comfortable stay in a cave atop Mount Abu. At some point, he also stayed in a cave, in a guha, for tapasya, for tapas. You understand now? Tapas, everyone understands, I think. So I need not to translate it again and again. Austerity, the spiritual austerity. So he arranged. Swamiji himself arranged for their comfortable stay in a cave atop Mount Abu, a cave where he had earlier engaged a deep meditation and austerity. Later, writing jointly from Vrindavan, Swamis Brahmananda and Turiyananda said in a letter to Swami Advaitananda, "While we were in Bombay, we met Narendra and felt indescribable joy. Later, he personally took the trouble to settle us comfortably on Mount Abu." From there we get this information. Having arranged a quiet and undisturbed place for their spiritual practices, Swamiji then departed for Khetri. On May 10, Swamiji left Khetri. May 10, summer, India, don't forget, Rajasthan. So, Swamiji left Khetri and arrived around the 16th or 17th of the month at Abu Road station via Jaipur on return journey. He stayed overnight at the home of Tarini Babu, a railway employee he had known from earlier. Meanwhile, Swamis Brahmananda and Turiyananda had arrived early in the morning after an all-night journey in a bullock cart. Swamiji, where he's staying, they came to meet him from their place of their austerity, from the cave. It was an all-night journey. Learning that the journey had caused them much body pain, Swamiji gently chided. If you had just given the cart driver a couple of paisa, little money, he would have laid down some straw. You wouldn't have suffered like this. Like a mother, something like elder brothers, like a mother. You are talking about body pain. You are doing austerity. You should pay little money to paisa. The driver of the cart driver would, lay down some kind of straw, like your bed. Okay. So now little news in Mount Abu. Immersed in their spiritual practices, the two monks became deeply absorbed in tapasya on Mount Abu, Turiyanandaji and Swami Brahmanandaji. During this time, Sharat Chandra Chaudhuri, the Diwan of Jodhpur, often came to meet them. Drawn by their saintly presence, he extended great care and hospitality to both of them. While staying there, they unexpectedly met their brother disciple, Swami Niranjanananda. Upon returning to Calcutta from the western region, Swami Niranjanananda reported with joy. So, unexpectedly they met in Mount Abu. Swami Niranjanananda was again a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, one of the Ishwar Kotis. So, he came and unexpectedly and saw they are there, Turiyananda, Hari and Rakhal. So, what he saw, he narrated what he saw, what the change he saw in Rakhal. He described all those things to the devotees of Kolkata. What he told? He told, "Oh, Rakhal has changed so much. It's as if he is no longer the same Rakhal. He is constantly engaged in japa," repeating the holy name. "Even his way of speaking has become incredibly sweet. I saw him near Mount Abu suffering from kidney stones. The pain is unbearable. He couldn't sit or stand due to urinary tract obstruction. And yet he bore it all in silence, with such calmness and self-restraint. There was not the slightest trace of agitation on his face. The sweetness of his voice and his words, it was such a joy to behold. He was progressed so much. Seeing his spiritual elevation filled my heart with delight." Among many datas, this is the inspiration. So, it transforms your inner life, your being. When you do genuine kind of, if your effort is genuine, it bound to change that inner life, and it will reflect in your manner. When you talk with people, when you do business with people, that is the application. So everything is there. So he talked about his not only words. He was sick, but from our talk there is no trace of his agitation. And the last part also, see, the brother disciple, he became so joyful, seeing that spiritual, that elevation he saw, and he was sharing that one to see, many things to see. Okay. So, yet none of these experiences of suffering or joy were ever uttered by Brahmananda himself. Never, then or future. Never. He was very much reserved by nature. Before leaving for America, Swami Vivekananda wrote an emotional letter from Bombay to his beloved brother disciples. Raja and Hori Bhai, who were then staying on Mount Abu, recalling that letter, Swami Brahmananda once said, so during those days, between Mumbai or Mount Abu, that from the discussion, Swami Brahmananda remembered something. What he told? Before departing for America, Swamiji wrote to me and Hori Maharaj. These words of his still burn in my heart. Hori Bhai means Hori, Swami Turiyananda. Bhai means brother. So Hari Bhai means brother Hari. Hori Bhai often brings them up too. Swamiji wrote, Dharma or religion is that which is for the welfare of the world and the happiness of many. Whatever is done only for oneself is adharma. It is irreligious. What a grand truth he spoke. Can you imagine the depth of such a statement? The first time he heard that kind of thing, and he impressed them. And again we'll see Turiyanandaji will describe something. They are talking about time to time, I and Hori, that is Turiyananda, we discuss among others what kind of statement it was. He said, Dharma, that is religion, is that which is for the welfare of the world and the happiness of many. Whatever is done only for oneself is adharma, irreligious. Meanwhile, in response to Brahmananda's request, Swami Akhandananda, though frail and in poor health, journeyed from Bombay to a place called Kharari near Abu Road to meet them. Then they joined. But Swamiji was not there. At the same time, the pool of Vrindavan was becoming irresistible for Brahmanandaji. Again, Subhadanandaji, some here and then, again, pool of Vrindavan. Without further delay, he and Swami Turiyananda arrived in Vrindavan in the 3rd week of July to observe the Chaturmasya there. What is Chaturmasya? Chatur, this part is Chatur, means 4. Masya came from mas, means month. So what is about 4-month, some kind of vow, some kind of austerity? What is that? The 4-month period of intensified spiritual discipline during the monsoon. In the monsoon season in India, it's very difficult to go around from here and there, in those days especially. So the monks, they usually used to spend those 4 months in a certain place, and staying a certain place, they used to continue their spiritual practices. So this is Chaturmasya. They thought that during this monsoon season, we will stay in Vrindavan. Oh, what heavenly emotion blossoms in the hearts, those blessed souls who have laid their minds and body and heart in full surrender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Who thinks about who engaged, who fixed their mind and heart at the lotus feet of God. Sometimes many emotions, it is that heavenly emotions, they occupy their heart. So they are different in color, they are different in flavor. So when they arrived at Vrindavan, Hari Maharaj, Swami Turiyananda, he declared, "Today we will not go out to beg for alms. Let us see if Radharani makes us to fast." Today we will not go for begging. Let us see Radharani. Radharani, Srimati Radharani, the divine consort of Krishna. We call Brajeshwari sometimes out of love. She is the goddess of Vrindavan. That kind of thing. Is the Ishwari. So so let us see that whether she makes us fast or not without any food. But we, for ourselves, will not go. Immersed in japa and meditation, the two sadhus spent their days and nights without any expectation. It is not that without expectation they are doing their japa meditation. Strangely enough, around 9 the next morning, a generous Seth means a merchant or a Seth, arrived with abundant food offerings. The monks joyfully accepted a small portion of what he brought, chanting, "Radharani ki jai," victory to Radharani. During their pilgrimage through the Braja, that is the Vrindavan, they walked on foot to holy places like Radha Kund, Shyama Kund, Nandagram and Barshana. After completing their tour, they settled in a simple one-story house beside the palace of Raja of Bharatpur, near Kusum Sarovar, to resume their austerities. They went to some holy places, that where Sri Krishna spent his childhood, Nandagram, Barshana, they called the birthplace of Radharani. They visited all those places, then decided, let us no more visiting, no more wandering, let us again spend some time. And where they sat, it is Kusum Sarovar, it is still there. It is not far away from the palace of the king of Bharatpur. Both of them took up intense tapasya. Generally, it was Swami Turiyananda who went for madhukari, that is begging alms, for both. One day, they managed to receive only a few dry rotis that day. Sitting beside a well, they soaked the dry bread in water and began their meal. Suddenly, overcome by emotion, Swami Turiyananda burst into tears and cried out, crying, "Maharaj, how much love and care Thakur used to shower upon you. He would feed you with kheer and butter, and now I am feeding you dry bread, dry roti." Thakur Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna, what kind of love he showered on you, and with his own hand he used to feed you kheer, some kind of a sweet milk pudding. that kind of thing, a condensed milk kind of thing. And very difficult to say, sometimes we call rice pudding also, sometimes we call kheer, but that kind of thing. And butter is to put the thing with his own hand, and today I am giving you a dry roti, and you are eating with soaking in the water. Brahmananda gently consoled his grieving brother with words of love. By that time, Maharaj had become so deeply inward that he had no concern whatever for food or comfort. He was entirely absorbed in his spiritual life. What he is eating, no care kind of thing. Reflecting on the memories of earlier days, Swami Turiyananda once said, Swami Brahmananda was indeed a man of great renunciation, deeply devoted to rigorous spiritual practices. But there was a peculiar aspect to him in those days, he was sharing. Suddenly, he would fall silent and become very much grave. He would stop speaking altogether, and no one could make out what was going on. Then, after a few days, he would start talking as usual again. It gives you some kind of a flavor of the. It is not two monks sitting all the time, engaging into, not like that. So for several days they would stop speaking, let us enjoying their inner experiences, many days. And I remember same thing happened, Swami Shivananda and Turiyananda. So Turiyananda is saying like that. So I think it is very common to them. About Turiyananda ji, Shivananda ji also told the same thing. So at some point they are staying in Almora. So same kind of thing Mahapurush Maharaj told. Suddenly he would become so silent, but after a few days he would talk. So it gives you idea when they are staying alone, but does not mean they are engaged in talking and all those things. No, they are doing their tapas. In Vrindavan, the two great monks, Swami Brahmananda and Swami Turiyananda, were immersed in devotion and spiritual practices, enjoying each other's company in that holy place. Meanwhile, Turiyananda was in correspondence with their brother disciples in Calcutta. Some news started coming. It is not that started coming means they are in contact always. Just Niranjananda saw him, sometimes they used to get letter from somebody because they have that love. So they got a news that through letters, they came to know that the monastery had moved from Baranagar to Alambajar in 1892, just before Sri Ramakrishna's birth anniversary. So now we have entered 1891. We're talking about. No, they got now 1892 also started, and they got news from Baranagar monastery. The monastery was moved to a different place called Alambajar, because. That Baranagar monastery, it was a dilapidated building. How they lived those years, who knows? But they came to Alambajar, more spacious place, and with time, and because many things happened, started maybe Swamiji's news also started coming from here and there, because Swamiji has a contact with this South Indian devotees, all them. So some change came, little bit of comfort. So what kind of comfort? So as far as I remember, I may be wrong, but some kind of a table lamp was introduced in the monastery. A mat was purchased. So that kind of comfort. And now you can read under a table lamp or under lamp. That kind of comfort. So at the end of 1893, more news arrived. Swami Vivekananda was creating a stir in India with his triumphant success abroad. The glory of Sri Ramakrishna was being spread across the land, and this filled the two monks with great joy. Through the monastery, Swamiji wrote to them, through actually not one letter, through many letters. So urging them to return and help with the organizational work. But Swami Brahmananda felt no inner call. He could not bring himself to immediately agree to the proposal. Meanwhile, urgent reminders continued to arrive from the monastery, pressing them to return to Calcutta. Swami Shivananda. Swamiji wrote letters to all the direct disciples, and letters is a beautiful part. I think we can start a little bit of that, because from letter is important, the data we can get. They are not talking verbally now, no, but what is going on in Swamiji's mind, and how they became engaged with this organizational work, we can understand. So during this time, the two monks, wishing to witness the Jhulan Jatra, that is festival of the swinging of Lord Krishna, arrived in Lucknow on their way to Ayodhya and stayed as guests at the house of Nitya Gopal Babu, editor of Advocate newspaper. Unexpectedly, they met Swami Shivananda there and heard again from him about Swamiji's request. From Lucknow, Swami Brahmananda and Swami Turiyananda wrote a joint letter to Swamiji in the US, opening their hearts and expressing their inner state. So when they are doing what Swamiji was doing? In 31st May, in May, where they were, we just read. Okay, so they were staying in that Vrindavan and all those places. What Swamiji was doing? Swamiji on 31st May, he started his journey towards via Colombo, Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, and I think 25th July probably he arrived at Vancouver. And from there visiting all those places. This is the background going on. So from Lucknow, Swami Brahmananda and Swami Turiyananda wrote a joint letter to Swamiji, opening their hearts and expressing their inner state. Referring to this letter, Swamiji wrote to the devotees in Calcutta, so many requests were made to Rakhal and Hori to form an organization, but their spirit of renunciation is intense. Tade boiragyo prabal, in a funny way, playful way. In another letter to Swami Ramakrishnananda, Swamiji mentioned the same letter and wrote jokingly, "It seems your adda, that is meeting place, is very malarious." I heard. Rakhal and Hori both wrote that, "Please give many bows to Raja and Hori, like a stick, like a latti, like a brick, like a chhatri." Chhatri means like umbrella. So in our next, it is a funny letter, nice letter. So I came to know from the letter that their state of our mind, their intense spirit of tapas is there. So offer my pranam like a stick, like a latti, like a brick, like an umbrella. So next class we will continue and especially we will see the later part. The letters he wrote to, interesting, just saying an introduction for our next discussion maybe. It's interesting to see from 1894, the mid-January letter. So Swamiji's letter, they reached the brother disciples. Before 93, no letter, especially about them. Any news, carrying Swamiji's news, no letter to brother disciples. But he was writing letter to Alasinga, the young disciples, Alasinga, Haridas, Biharidas Desai. So all those, but not brother disciples. So what is the reason? So we found Sister Gargi in his new discoveries, he raised this question. She raised that question and she came to the interesting conclusions. So all those things we'll try to discuss in your next discussion. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavatarang Parameshamityam Tang Rama Krishnang Shirasa Namama. Salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, who is worshipped by all and is the perfect embodiment of the eternal truth, manifesting in various forms to guide and help mankind. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace.